Welcome to the function slide. This is comparable to a procedure in that it is a sequence of statements that performs a task or calculates a value, and if necessary, accepts certain inputs and returns the output as the value of the variable, or it just completes the operation without returning any value. In other words, functions literally allows you to perform certain sets of instructions with ease. Now, there are two main approaches to declaring a function. The normal function, which entails starting with the name function and the name of the function you want to use. Now, the parentheses here, which is where you get to add in the inputs, like I said. They are either called arguments or you can also call them parameters. Followed by the curly braces, which is the function block. Now, within this, there are the set of instructions you are going to carry out whenever you call the function name. To call the function is as easy as typing the name followed by this parenthesis. This gets to call the function for you. Let's try to add arguments to our function and also return the variables into a new variable that we're going to create. Variable A is equal to 5, variable B is equal to 4. Now when you run the function multiply, you are passing the two arguments A, B into this function of multiply, and within the function scope you are returning A multiplied by B. This would essentially do the normal calculation, evaluates the value for you, and returns whichever value it's calculated into the variable product, and in turn you get to have the product of A and B as the value to the variable product. To call this function product, all you need to do is to run the product passing the two variables 2 and 5, and with that these two arguments get to be accepted inside of these conditions here, where you have 2 to be A and 5 to be B. So technically we are going to have 2 multiplied by 5, the value is 10, and it's now returning the value of 10 to the variable product. And because we are now returning the value into this variable product, we now have the product with the new value of 10. So technically, to get the product value printed on our console, we have to do console.log product while passing the two arguments required. The second approach to declaring a function is the arrow function, where in this case you only get to see the var name equal to the parenthesis, an arrow function, or you could call it a fat arrow, where you now have an equal sign and a greater than sign, followed by the function block, and within this is where you get the function you intend on running. To call this function, you still need to repeat the same thing, name with the parenthesis, to call the function. For example, let's say we have a variable of sum which is equated to an arrow function having two arguments A and B. With the arrow function here, or the fat arrow, we get to open up the function scope, and here we are returning the sum of A and B, which gets to evaluate the sum and returns the value back into the variable of sum. To achieve that, we are going to console.log sum, passing in the two arguments we stipulated earlier, which is 2 and 5, 2 being the value of A and 5 being the value of B. So once it's done calculating, it's going to return 7 to the sum, thereby allowing us to console.log the sum which holds the value 7. In our next slide, we'll get to talk about loop in JavaScript and how to use the looping system available in JavaScript.